we're still trying to decipher the Jaylen Brown situation and wondering if the offseason is already getting away from Brad Stevens.
Rain and J's, how we started raising business, how we finished. Locked on Celtics pod, home of the winners. Big.
Hey there, welcome back to the show. I am John Karalis, and today's episode is brought to you by Odoo. Great organizations win because operations matter, and that's why you should get Odoo. Try it for free at odoo.com/lockedon. That's odoo.com/lockedon. Obviously, Jaylen Brown is still the hot topic because it's still almost impossible to understand everything that's going on. How did this devolve so quickly? How did we get here? I already touched on that last night, but just the discussion around that, I think, needs to continue. His value, what are the Celtics going to get for him? And more importantly, later in the show, second and third segments, we're going to get into, is the offseason already getting away from Brad Stevens? Or how far behind are the Celtics at this point? And we're going to talk about all of this with our guy, Tom Westerholm. What's up, Tom?
What up? How's it going?
Dramatic pause as he waits for me to unmute him. I need a new sound effect here for just like confused murmuring about what's going on with Jaylen. So we'll answer the Brad Stevens stuff later, but the more I think about it, I think the more I get twisted into knots. It's funny because I posted a video today about taken from last night's show, and someone was like mentioning what I said to somebody else who was saying something similar. And he said, Karalis, parentheses, who has been all over the place this offseason, just kind of said what you said here and what I've been saying for a few days. Shout out to Matt. And I was like, you know what? I have been all over the place this offseason, because after they lost to the Sixers, I was like, okay, you know what? It's fine. It's okay. This was never supposed to be like, it's all right. Fix the big situation, add some shooting off the bench, scoring off the bench. They'll be okay. And then from there, it's like the Giannis stuff comes up. And I'm like, okay, well, interesting, but probably just kicking the tires. Yeah. Oh, this is serious. Okay, maybe it's serious. Oh my God, I think Jaylen Brown is gone. And then, oh, he didn't get traded. Okay, fine. Okay, he's sticking around in Boston. Oh, wait, now he has to be traded. And it's like, yes, this has been a roller coaster ride for me, because I am trying to find I'm trying to be rational and not like overreacting to things. But maybe I should have been overreacting to things, because it seems like somehow we got from May 6th, where Brad Stevens was like, when we're whole, we're good, and it's hard to get that, so we're just gonna work around the margins, to 6 weeks later, everybody's like, yeah, Brad Stevens, he's trading Jaylen Brown. Mm-hmm. He had an opportunity to say, I'm not trading him. He didn't do that.
Sure didn't.
He's operating like a guy who is shopping Jaylen Brown or going to trade Jaylen Brown. So I don't know, man. I am all over the place right now. It's very confusing how a relationship, I wrote on Celtics on SI, it's like watching someone celebrate their 10th anniversary, like laughing and joking and having a grand old time. Like, man, they're in such a good place. And then 5 weeks later, like, oh man, yeah, he moved out. That's not working. I'm like, I just saw them. They were so happy. What's going on here? So I don't know, Tom. I'm confused.
I mean, I think part of this, right, is the curse of you do a daily podcast, right? And like, if you're trying to react to the biggest stories of the day, biggest stories of the day don't always, that's not always a coherent, it's not always a coherent piece of music that's being composed. Sometimes it's, a little dissonant. And I think that's one of the big things that we're experiencing here. Cause I mean, it's been a crazy offseason. I think to me, one of the biggest things it feels like there's got to be a couple of puzzle pieces here. I mean, to me, I think to make sense of all of this stuff at once, there has to be a couple of puzzle pieces that we're missing. I think there's got to be something, and I don't know what it is. I don't know. I the other day I posited on Blue Sky, like maybe, I don't know, man, maybe Jaylen, like, you know, kind of quietly went to the Celtics and said, I think I want out. And like, it's okay if you shot me around. And like, maybe that explains why all of a sudden the Celtics were like, hey, let's put him in trade talks, and why we haven't heard a lot of complaints from Jaylen Brown or his camp. There hasn't been like a lot of noise from him about this. And I mean, on the one hand, maybe he's just showing really remarkable maturity, right? But I think that here's the thing, right? I think there's two options here. Either one, he is okay with being traded and he's okay with these possibilities, or two, he is showing truly remarkable maturity in the face of a thing that, like, if I were him, and I think if any rational person were him, I would be so mad if the Celtics were just shopping me after the season I had, after all the things that Brad said starting the offseason. I don't know for sure, like, if there was like some kind of trade request or openness to a trade, or what conversations have happened between Jaylen and Brad, but it does seem to me that there's got to be something there. It can't just there's no way that we have a blurry full picture here. There's got to be pieces missing that we just don't.
I agree, because in these 6 weeks or so, the tenor has changed completely.
Yeah.
This is the Brad Stevens that we've known has not been himself. It feels like something came along, right? An event. And you're right, man. Jaylen Brown is on Twitch, man. He is online. This dude complains about things very easily and openly. And
to add to that, he complains about the media very openly. And if he was like, and right now the complaint that he's made about the media has been Stephen A. Smith. It hasn't been everybody talking about his situation. There's been no talk about that. His most recent complaining was just Stephen A. And that's old news for Jaylen. Like, he's been all about that one already.
And I was recording another podcast earlier today, and apparently he was streaming with some rappers who are, I don't know, in town for a concert. I have no idea what the context of the stream was, but I've been on Twitter and I haven't seen a single tweet about Jaylen. Oh, Jaylen said this, Jaylen said that. Since when has Jaylen Brown been online and in front of a camera when all of this stuff is happening and not saying a word? That is suspect. It lends credence to he's in on this. He knows it. He has to be, man. I don't want to be the guy. And this is why I don't overreact to things. But like, also, I know Jaylen Brown as well as anybody who's not his friend can know Jaylen Brown, I think, right? I've been around him. I see him interact with people. I've observed him online. I know what his demeanor generally is, and it doesn't fit. This doesn't fit. Jaylen has talked about these trade rumors, and he's been offended by the trade rumors so many times over the years. For him to actually be offered, and after that passes, to then turn around and have all the speculation be like, yeah, he's gone. Brian Windhorst said on ESPN on Thursday, oh yeah, he's getting traded.
Yeah.
Like, just casually, oh yeah, he's getting traded. Like, that's it. Definitively.
And like you, right? Like, I think it's important to note, writers are very meticulous about the things that they say confidently. Like,
yes,
you were just talking about not wanting to overreact. That's a very common thing among reporters. Reporters don't want to overreacts a lot. I think it's much more common that your general reporter underreacts.
Yes.
And Wendy's coming out and
we're
saying,
naturally skeptical.
Yeah, exactly. Wendy's the opposite of that. And I think that's really big. Like, that says something. Yeah.
So let me ask you a question. We'll take a break here. And I want to listening to Brad on May 6th, end of season press conference, where he was clearly upset, but he also was like talking about the margins and talking about being whole and, never said anything about Jaylen other than we thought the shots that he got were good and all of that stuff. Now to be do you think this is mutual, or was this actually a trade request? Did the thing that we say would happen last summer about, hey, Jaylen got the taste of is that actually happening here? Because it feels like Jaylen has been really cool with everything that's been happening. So let's chew on that for a second. We'll come back and answer that on the Locked On Celtics podcast. Today's show is brought to you by Game Time. You want to download that Game Time app because there are tons of events that are worth seeing right now. Games, concerts, comedy shows, festivals. This is a great time to get out, buy a ticket to something. Although buying tickets online has been confusing. Checkout processes have been very difficult. There are surprise fees. It feels harder than it really should. But Game Time, which I have used regularly, is an app built to make buying tickets simple with upfront pricing, seat views before you buy, exclusive savings opportunities that help you get the events that you want without the usual hassle. I've talked about this going to covering the Celtics Knicks series last year. The New York Liberty were playing, and I opened up the Game Time app. I said, oh, there's a game here. Let me see what tickets are available. Click on the seat view thing. I like this seat. Let me see the price. That's a price that I'm willing to pay. Boom, boom, boom. 3 clicks. Boom. Now I'm on a train. I'm heading over to the Barclays Center. I'm watching some WNBA. It really was that quick. You can do it off the cuff. You can do it last minute, or you can plan things out. All you need to do is download the Game Time app because it takes the guesswork out of buying tickets to every type of event. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem the code LOCKEDON, LOCKED, on Locked On for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Thank you for making Locked On Celtics your first listen every day. We just celebrated 10 years on the Locked On Podcast Network. Thanks for being an everydayer and seeing me through all of this stuff. We're on this journey together, you and I and us. So I appreciate you being with me every Monday through Friday. The show's available everywhere. If you're new to the show, it's on YouTube. You can watch it. You can comment on the YouTube page. I'm John Karalis. I cover the Celtics for Sports Illustrated Celtics on SI. Check out my written work there. I've been covering the team for about 20 years. This podcast is 11 or so years old. So, been around for a bit. Tom Westerholm's been on a significant part of this journey with me. So going back to the Mass Live days and hopping on the podcast regularly. So, pretty cool that we've, carved this out. Yeah. So let me ask you this question, buddy. Where do we land on this? Do we think Jaylen went into the Celtics? Do you think the Celtics came away and was like, I've seen it posited everywhere. Our good friend Brian Robb on 98.5 was talking about, you lose in the second round last year, very disappointing. You blow the 3-1 lead this year. You got to do something. And so that's a very Celtics-centered way to look at it. But as I said before the break, Jaylen seems really cool about all of this. So I don't know. What do you make of that?
Yeah. What do you make of that? Yeah.
Your reaction right there is the reaction. Yeah. Because before you answer.
Please.
The Jaylen stands are going to have their take. The Jayson stands, who are somehow anti-Jaylen, are going to have their takes. And so the people who have taken the definitive stance from the beginning are going to say, I've been saying this all along. And so we, the natural skeptics, who are looking for answers and explanations all over the place, that reaction that you just had, that's my reaction. I've never been more confused by a situation. I've never been more blindsided by a situation. I could have seen this coming a year from now.
Sure.
But for some reason, this season, the way it happened has just been like, no one leading up to all of this was like, I think this is the year that Jaylen goes, except for the fans who are fighting with one another.
Of course, yeah. No, I mean, the truth is, I can't remember at this point. I can't remember what we said before the pod and what we said on the pod. The truth is, we did say that this was a possibility, but we said it before this season started, right?
Yes.
Like, we did actually bring this up as like a possibility of like, hey, like Jaylen might ball out and then decide, hey, I think I'm a 1A superstar and I want to have my own team. And like, I mean, maybe that's what happened, right? Like, I do think that that's still very much in the cards. I think one of the things that feels so odd about this entire situation is that it is the first time that I, have thought to myself, wow, Brad blew this one, right? And maybe that, I don't know, maybe that didn't happen. And that would really help my puzzle piece theory. If the puzzle piece that we're missing is Jaylen told Brad, I want to trade, because that would really complicate things for Brad, because, Brad sees an opportunity with Giannis and goes, okay, Jaylen wants to trade. Maybe we can bring in Giannis and we can, that's a great pivot. That, if Jaylen wants a trade and you say, okay, let me go get Giannis, and you do that, well done, man. What a pivot. That's really good stuff. If that didn't happen somehow, then we're in a really tough spot here with Jaylen. That you're not getting. I mean, the names that are getting tossed around for him right now, Chris Mannix the other day was bringing up Evan Mobley, and I'm sorry, man. Like, woof. Like, Jaylen Brown is so much better than Evan Mobley, and maybe I don't know.
You and I are in the same boat on Evan Mobley.
Yeah,
because Scal. Let me tell you something. Listening to Scal talk, Scal's like, "Oh my God, if we can get Evan Mobley for Jaylen Brown, do it absolutely." Let me just throw it out there.
Yeah.
The second apron makes that basically impossible. It's not, but you and I are the same boat. Like, there's something missing with Evan Mobley. Like, a great talent, all this stuff.
Could not agree more.
But I'm like, is that, if you're talking about winning, like, you want to go out and get a winner, I feel like Evan Mobley should have won by now.
Yeah.
So anyway,
and you're getting rid of Jaylen. I'm sorry. You want to go out and get a winner, and you're going to give away the Eastern Conference Finals MVP and Finals MVP for Evan Mobley? Like, woof.
Yeah.
Like, that's not it. That's not it. And like, hey, I mean, we brought up the Pelicans trade, and it doesn't seem that there's been, the Trey Murphy thing that Bill Simmons has been floating around. And like, I don't know. I mean, I expressed some interest in it. The more I've thought about it, the more I'm kind of like, that's, Trey Murphy. I mean, he's a good player, but do you really want to trade a star and get a bunch of role players back? Like, even if they're really great role players, like, I don't. Is Trey Murphy going to be a star? That seems like a little bit of it's certainly not a Jaylen star, right? That seems like a big stretch. So it's like, to me, it feels like Brad, to the question, on today's show question here, like, is the offseason kind of getting away from him? It's like, what else? You're really gonna have to pull a rabbit out of a hat with this one. It feels like, because the draft is already gone, right? We didn't hear any rumblings about like, hey, Washington, you guys are trying to build something there. What about we can get AJ Dabansa. We didn't hear anything about that. There was no, there was no. The only rumblings we got were like the 5th pick, and the 5th pick is the one. That's where everything fell off. We got a little bit of rumbling about that. That never came to pass. I just feel like all the stuff that would make you feel good about a Jaylen trade is kind of not there.
So maybe I'll say this. We just kind of like psychoanalyze Jaylen, psychoanalyze Brad a little bit.
Yeah.
That dude is prepared, right? That dude comes into the offseason and he's got his probably like a binder, a 3-ring binder with all little tabs, like a nerd. And he's like, I got all this. Here's plan A, B, C, D, E, F. And you go on down. Maybe this blindsided him. So
that's
I remember
what it seems like. Yeah.
I remember asking him first question after he made his statement on May 6th. Jaylen Brown, he seems frustrated. Has he expressed any frustration? And Brad was like, no. Yeah, just talked to him. Didn't seem frustrated. And then since then, all of this stuff has happened. Now, I don't want to, make some like false equivalencies here. But just judging from what we see. Brad was like, no, we're good. Everything's good. He was talking about the margins. Okay, let me ask you this. Quick question. Would Brad Stevens have said, let me see if I can pull up this quote real quick here. Would Brad Stevens have said, quote, when we've been full and all on the court and playing together, we've been a good basketball team. Those are hard to get, so we just have to be better around the margins. Would he have said that quote unprompted? It was just part of a longer answer.
Yeah.
On May 6th, if he came into the offseason with a plan to trade Jaylen Brown.
I think you could have easily said the first half of that quote and still had a plan to trade Jaylen Brown. I think it's when you get to we just have to. That's where it falls apart. That's where it really seems like, honestly, if you're, I think you come into this offseason and you don't, I think the reason you don't have a plan to trade Jaylen Brown is the situation the Celtics are in right now, which is there's not a great deal for him out there. Again, unless you pull a rabbit out of the hat. So honestly, your best shot at winning a title this year, I think, is running it back, hoping that Jayson Tatum healthy is helpful, hoping that James Dolan doesn't want to pay the second apron, which it seems like that seems like that's going to be the case, hoping that the Pacers aren't going to be better than you just by existing and coming back healthy themselves, and hoping that you get a little injury luck in the Western Conference and maybe you get another title out of it. Like that was the most that was at least the Occam's razor path to another title. And now everything's everything's all blown to smithereens. And and again, Brad is not a TNT guy. Like, I don't think he's just like pulling a pin out of a grenade and chucking it into the offseason. I think that he's a very measured individual. Yeah. Which makes me think that that's the pin got pulled on him. And he's like fumbling around this active grenade and trying to figure out what to do with it.
Brad Stevens knows what he's saying at all times.
Yes.
He knows he does not say things to us in the media without, like, he doesn't just flippantly say these things. That was part of a longer answer. I don't have time to go look for the longer answer and question all that stuff. But there's no chance in hell, man, that he says we just have to be better around the margins when he has a plan to trade Jaylen Brown. He can say that when we've been playing together, we've been a good basketball team, and those are hard to get, period, full stop. And that would just be like, what I would never even think about that quote really much anymore. But when he said flat out, we have to be better around the margins, I just, maybe I'm putting too much emphasis on this quote. But if I'm looking for the flashpoint, if I'm looking for the big bang here, that tells me he came into the season with a plan. And now I'm not saying who knows what happened between then and now.
Yeah.
A Jaylen Brown trade request sure feels like a very easy thing to say. Okay, well, that would make perfect sense.
Yeah.
Giannis was on the market already. He was on the market back at the trade deadline. The Celtics sniffed around it. Nothing really materialized, and that was it. Now, I'm going to take a break. Because this leads me into the offseason getting away from Brad Stevens. If he had a plan, I feel like he'd be sticking to a plan right now. Let's get to that next here on the Lockdown Celtics podcast. Today's show is brought to you by Odoo. Running a business shouldn't feel like you're trying to connect a bunch of systems that were never designed to work together. You got one app for accounting, another for inventory, another for sales, and none of them talk to each other? That makes no sense. That's where Odoo comes in. Odoo is an all-in-one business management software that brings every part of your business together in one powerful platform. From sales and accounting to inventory and marketing, everything works in one place, helping your team move faster, stay organized, and focus on growing the business instead of managing software. Think about what we're just talking about, where the Celtics, if they're caught by surprise and people aren't talking to one another and now somebody's kind of stuck. That's not how you move an organization forward. That's why we're talking about things not kind of working out right now. Great organizations win because operations matter. And if the operation's not working properly, then you need to fix it. That's why you should get Odoo. Try Odoo today for free at odoo.com/lockedon. That's odoo.com/lockedon. How about something else for your business? Quo. Missed calls and slow follow-ups can cost your business more than you realize. Every unanswered call, forgotten text, and delayed response means missed opportunities, lost customers, and money, your revenue left on the table. That's why Quo is the business communication system that you need. It's built so you never miss a call. Quo brings your team's calls, texts, and customer conversations together in one place, helping your business stay organized, responsive, and connected. Quo simplifies communication for an entire team. Instead of juggling multiple phones, inboxes, and message threads, everyone stays on the same page and focuses on serving customers. It's very easy. As a customer, I hate reaching out and feeling like your message gets mishandled or just disappears. The business that handles the message quickly, accurately, and if you have to call over multiple days and talk to multiple people who they're both on the same page and know what your concerns are, those are the businesses that make money and keep customers. Money is on the line. Always say hello with Quo. Try Quo for free, plus get 20% off your first 6 months when you go to quo.com/lockedonnba. That's quo.com/lockedonnba. Thank you for making Locked On Celtics your first listen every day. You're an everydayer. You want your Celtics fix completely ad-free by joining the Everydayer Club. Start your 7-day free trial right now and get closer to your team without the interruptions. Click on the link in the show notes or go to LockedOnCeltics.com. LockedOnCeltics.supercast.com. LockedOnCeltics.supercast.com to claim your free trial. There we go. As I was saying, Tom, before, when Brad comes in and has plans and somehow those plans get derailed, now we're looking at the situation that you're talking about where, okay, we just watched LaMelo Ball, like, oh, here's a rumor, boom, he's gone.
Yep.
That happened in an instant. The LaMelo Ball thing happened the way we're used to Celtics things happening. The rumor happens at the very last second when it's kind of a done deal. And they just kind of, okay, so Minnesota was a team that was sniffing around Jaylen Brown. Nope, here's LaMelo. And probably a better fit, at least positionally. I want to see how those personalities work together. But anyway, so that's a suitor out.
Yeah, I mean, Edwards and Jaylen are friends. That might have been an interesting.
That could have been something that like you really could hang your hat on.
Yeah.
But that's gone. Kobe White now because of that guy that we were talking about potentially at the mid-level. Nope, he gets a contract that's basically the guys who get 20 plus million, that in between the mid-level and the max, those are the guys that are re-signing with their teams. He's going to get that. So he's off the table. So the options at the mid-level dwindling a little bit. Who's left? Ayo Dosunmu? No, Ayo Dosunmu signed. Or agreed, right?
Yeah, did, yeah.
So he's out. Anfernee Simons, the only one left, I think. Maybe somebody else. But not many options there. It just feels like it's too early to say that, as the kids would say, Brad's fumbling the bag, but it's at this point, the arrow is pointing down. And it's unlike Brad to have that feeling out there. It's not even July 1st, so we don't know. So something can happen tomorrow, Friday, Saturday, whatever. That changes all of this.
Whenever it's least convenient for everybody. That's
yes. Yeah. Yep. I can do the writer thing and be like, hey, here's how I'm occupied for the next few hours. Of course, something's going to happen. But it feels like something caught Brad by surprise, or I don't know. It's hard to say because I'm guessing, but it just feels like he there's like a slight bit of being surprised, not blind. I don't know, but it's something like that, right? Like that's the part that I'm sticking in my head.
Well, it just doesn't seem like Brad to get himself into this position, right? It doesn't feel like Brad to get himself into a position where one of the top, where's Jaylen at this point? I mean, I think this season, right? He was an All NBA second team player, so call him a top 10 player for sure. Then, right? If he was All NBA second team, right? A guy who played for your team and was a top 10 player in the NBA, where that guy is now, like, his trade value is going down because it seems like he's that available, right? It seems like he's super available and the Celtics have to make a move, or at least that's what the reporting sounds like. Because again, it doesn't necessarily seem that way coming from Jaylen. Like, Jaylen is maintaining a complete radio silence on all of this and is not giving hints one way or the other about whether he wants to stay or leave, or whether he's like super mad, or whether he's made a trade request. He's just saying nothing, right? So it just seems really unlike Brad to have gotten to this point where his very, very, very valuable asset is declining in value. That doesn't usually happen to him. And, I mean, as that happens, like I don't know. It just becomes harder and harder to find a realistic option. Even the Minnesota one, right? It's like, what was that going to be around? Gobert? Like, that's not exciting. Nobody's excited about that. No. Because it wasn't going to be around Edwards. Like, that wasn't the answer. So I don't know, man. It's like, it's funny, right? Because I've made a bunch of jokes about how we got everything wrong during the playoffs. Like, we predicted one thing and then immediately it just didn't happen.
Yeah.
It's to the point that now with Jaylen, I'm just like, man, I don't know. We thought they wouldn't. I thought that your rationale that you presented on why they wouldn't trade him for Giannis made a lot of sense. I was like, yeah, that tracks. And clearly he was extremely available. So again, I just keep coming back to it. Feels like that the answer is that he, at very least, made it clear that he was fine with being traded and or preferred to be traded. Like, maybe he just told Brad, hey, I would prefer to be traded, but I'll come back if you can't find one. Like, maybe that's the puzzle piece. I don't know. Now I'm just throwing things at a dartboard, but it's weird, man.
It's weird. It is weird. I'm just poking around and trying to see, is there a way that maybe this deal, maybe Brad is still like, can still get in on one of these deals. Maybe he gets in on the Charlotte deal. Maybe he said, maybe I'm trying to
Brandon Miller. Like, who are you bringing back that's exciting in the Charlotte deal?
Reroute Naz Reid.
Oh, come on, man.
to Boston and like pick I don't know, maybe Brandon Miller to Boston.
Maybe.
I don't know. I'm just trying to make some sense out of this.
Yeah.
I don't know. The off season is so messy right now. I don't know. I honestly don't know what to make of it. Brad,
I think if you're a fan and you're in a position where you're just like, whoa, what do I make of all this? Just know you're not alone, because it doesn't make any sense. It's really weird.
So I guess where I've landed is that Jaylen has to be in on this somehow. He has to be.
He's got to be.
Brad talked about he's been talking to the agent and been talking to Jaylen. If Jaylen is not, I can't get past the Jaylen's not complaining bit. You know what I mean? Like, if Jaylen's not complaining, then that he has to be in on it, because it's one thing he loves to do is complain online when he feels wronged. And this should be a place where he feels wrong. That was the whole premise of after the Giannis trade. Jaylen's going to feel so wronged by this that you have to trade him now. Okay, let's buy that premise. why hasn't Jaylen Brown said anything about this?
Right.
Right? Like he hasn't even done a cryptic tweet. He hasn't done, like, barely done any of that stuff. I've been watching his Instagram. There's no meme. There's no nothing. There's no energy, something, anything like that. Nothing from any of his people. Nothing. Feels like, I think his brother posted the championship celebration, almost like, why are we doing memories here? I don't know. You can find anything if you go looking for it. So, but I can't get past this now. I can't get past the Jaylen. Jaylen has been very, very quiet, which is, it feels telling to me. And Brad just feels like, I don't know, his demeanor at that press conference is like more than, he didn't just seem tired. He seems like a guy who's been like, again, maybe I'm looking for something, and so I find it. It just seems like a guy who felt like he looked pressed. He looked like a guy who's just been, and then he walks off. Like, as soon as he walks off, he's like on his phone. I've never seen him get up and walk out of a room and be on his phone. He always gets up and walks out, and he's always like smiling and chatting and just walks off and is like the happiest guy. He got up from that thing, walked down with the steps, and just like picked up his phone immediately. It was like, I don't know, like it feels like a guy who's like, I got to keep working.
Yeah.
So that I guess that's it. I'm so flummoxed by all of this. I can't stop talking. So I am going to shut up now.
Well, I was going to say, it seems like Brad's about equally flummoxed. So I think that, well, at very least the rumors would suggest.
I can't believe we're here.
I really cannot believe we're here, man.
I cannot believe that we're here. That's the thing that drives me nuts. I feel like if Jaylen, like, I feel like we could have seen some of it come. I don't know. I just can't believe that this is how things have transpired. But look, man, this is how the NBA works.
Yeah.
You think you got a beat on something, and all of a sudden, boom, something changes. So we'll be on top of it. Feel like a bonus podcast is coming soon.
At some point.
Emergency podcast is coming soon.
That's it. It's coming. Yeah.
I feel like, I don't know. I got so many mailbag questions. I haven't even been able to wrap my head around some of these answers. So, but keep sending them in, johnkaralis.com/mailbag. Maybe I'll find some time over the weekend to give you a bonus one, or just save it till Monday. Either way, I'll be podcasting. Tom will be here occasionally. Tom, for now, thank you very much, buddy.
Appreciate you, man.
I do appreciate you. As always, Tom Westerholm. Thanks for being here, everybody. We're going to get through it together. I know some of you are like, John, what are you talking about? I knew this was coming. I feel this is coming. I'm happy this is coming. Some of you are like, I can't believe it. This shouldn't be happening. Like, man, whatever side you're in, this is still an unusual situation. We'll be talking about it. We'll be trying to hash through it here. 5 days a week, Locked On Celtics. It's free. It's available everywhere. Watch the show on YouTube and get into the comments. Share your thoughts with me, and then share the podcast. Tell everybody they should be listening to and watching the Locked On Celtics podcast here on the Locked On Podcast Network. It's your team every day.